What's up, guys? You're here tuned in with your girl Ari Renee, and we are here to discuss how to deal with failure.
If I told you this was only gonna hurt, if I warned you that the fire's gonna burn.
So to begin, let's talk about where does failure even come from? Failure can come from you just feeling down about yourself, you not getting a certain grade on something, you're not getting the job that you want, you're not doing the makeup that you want to do, because that definitely happened to me 2 days ago. I mean, just not feeling up to par with what your standards are that you set for yourself. So today we're just going to discuss how to deal with it, or find ways around it, or find ways where you can talk to people to even that can help you discuss it. So we're just gonna hop in. I don't want this video to be too long because all my videos are long, so we're just gonna start. To start off, I'm gonna talk about my failure lately, just so you guys can get an idea of where I'm coming from, and not that I'm just coming on here rambling to you guys at all. I recently dealt with failure myself. Basically the whole month of June, even heading into June. A lot of you guys know, if you watched some of my previous videos, that I'm a freelance photographer, videographer, so people contract me to do pictures and videos basically. And I headed into the month of June having one job for the whole month, and yes, it paid pretty well, but I only had one. And usually I have 4 to maybe even 7 jobs lined up, but it once a week even. And I did not have that heading into the month of June, and I thought it would get better. I actually had clients that kind of flaked on me or didn't show up, or wasn't about money. I had one guy really use my business to try and get at me, which I actually haven't really discussed that with anybody, so I'm discussing it now. And that kind of made me upset, because already being in the entertainment or photography business, we are underrated, and for someone to do that just kind of hurt me a little bit. But yeah, I went into the month of June not having any jobs whatsoever. I had one job, which was doing videography for ice skating, and it paid pretty well. I got $15 an hour for doing that job. I worked 3 days, and I worked 10 hours each day. So yes, I did get paid quite a bit from that job, but for the whole month, it just wasn't enough. I was sitting here trying to figure out what am I doing wrong. I actually got lazy. I stopped trying at all. I stopped posting on Instagram. I stopped promoting myself because I was just so discouraged. And I ended up getting a part-time job, which I'm doing now. And if you guys know from a couple of videos ago, I didn't want a job at all. I wanted to stick to this, but I need a steady income. Granted, I stay with my parents, so I don't really have bills to pay like that, except for my own. But it's just hard when you want things to do, you want to save up for different things like that. So I've been dealing with failure and I recently just yanked myself up and pulled myself out of it, because I was like, I cannot do this. There is stuff I want to do, trips I want to take. I want to live life like I'm supposed to in my 20s. Since I'm already staying at my parents' house, why not enjoy the freedom of not having bills right now and go out? That was just my reasoning for dealing with failure and how I got over it. So my first tip to you is to remember your self-worth. This can come with calculating maybe even the jobs you had before that. For freelancing, I had calculated the jobs that I had in May, because I had a lot of jobs in May. I think May was one of my busiest months. And I calculated that, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I also went and calculated how much I have made so far this year, even though it's not a lot, but it's kind of with the average of how much a freelancer makes his or her first year. So that kind of helped me figure out my self-worth. Look back at things that I've purchased for myself, things that I've done for myself. So that kind of helped me out a little bit. So remembering your self-worth, I would definitely put that as number one. My number 2 is to treat yourself. I know when it comes to money, it's sometimes hard, but it can be something if you set out $20 for yourself and go get a basic pedicure, that could be treating yourself. Go get some ice cream, that could also treat yourself. I don't like ice cream, so I cannot personally eat ice cream myself. Once I kind of started to yank myself up out of this failure, I'm feeling depression. I don't know, I don't really claim the label as depression, because I claim it a little bit too often, but just failure in general. The money I had made from ice skating, once I knew I had secured the part-time job, I went and bought a huge gift for myself, which I have been wanting since my birthday. And if you guys have not seen it, you are about to see it now. With this being said, I could have saved that money and probably put it away, but like I said, I had to treat myself and get something that I have been wanting for a while. So what I ended up doing was getting the Nintendo Switch. I'm a Nintendo girl. I love gaming, and the Nintendo Switch is something that I have been wanting since March, since my birthday, literally, because it came out around my birthday. And never had the money to, because something always happened, like my car breaking down for one. My car has had so many issues. That's really where all my money have went to, is my car. But that's different. But so I finally got the money, and I finally realized that I would have a job to have secure income. So I went and purchased myself the Nintendo Switch, and I have been loving this thing ever since. I wish I had a few more games to play on it, but other than that, I have loved it. So treat yourself, no matter what it is, no matter how small or how big. My next one is to keep moving, and this is where I got stuck. I downloaded a bunch of apps on my phone, and I just literally sat in my bed the whole month of June and play games, watch YouTube, watch like different stuff. I had no motivation because I just did not keep moving. I had no reason to keep moving. So this was probably like one of my biggest mistakes. I wasn't being productive. I wasn't out shooting nature photos, even though I hate shooting nature photos, but I didn't have a job, so that's something I could have been doing, you know, practicing on photography, you know, hitting up one of my friends and say, hey, let me shoot for you. I did not do that. Instead, I sat and was like, oh, I'm not getting any money for anything, so why should I even be out here? So I stayed lazy. I became lazy. I'm still getting out of the habit of being lazy and making myself get up, but be productive, keep moving, find a hobby, do something. This kind of leads into my next one, which is being organized. This might be my biggest topic I talk about, just for the simple fact, how are you keeping up with progress if you're not like being organized, you know, not writing stuff down? And even when it comes to your feelings, like write it down. I have like 5 different books, and I know I don't need that many, but I like all my stuff to be separated. I can't do a bullet journal with the bullet calendar and all that. I can't do that. I need everything to be separated. So I'm gonna just show you a few things that I do, or a few notebooks that I write in really quick, and then we're gonna move on to the next subject. So the first one is just this small pink one, and I've actually showcased this one already before, but just in case you did not watch this video, this one is really little, to write down all of my thoughts, all of what I need to get done, if I got something done that week, if I walked, you know what I mean, if I cleaned the house, if I feel sad, I write it down. I used to do it in my iPad, but I don't like my handwriting when it comes to the iPad. So I really write down all my thoughts and stuff in here. So this is how I keep up with a lot of things that's going on up here. This book is very important to me for the simple fact of I write all my jobs down, how much I got paid for it, how long it took me, who paid me, and things of that nature. This is how I keep up with how much I make. Of course, if you're a freelancer, you have to do that anyways, and this is one thing not really to be lazy about, because I don't need the IRS or anybody knocking at my door because I did not keep up with this. The next one, which everybody should have, even if you don't have those other two, is a calendar or agenda planner. Do we still call them agenda planners? But yeah, a little notebook to keep up with your day-to-day activities. Like I said, June was very hard for me. July will not be that way. July, I literally have, let me see if it'll focus. I literally have everything wrote down for what I want to do each day. Like, you see Monday I did a lot. I cleaned up under my sink, washed my hair, YouTube videos. The day I had a day with Angelo, which you guys might meet him soon, and then so on and forth. And the days I have to work, and then literally like YouTube days when I feel like putting up YouTube. But I need to write down something for every day. Like I try to, you know, even if it's something simple as cleaning the kitchen, at least I got up and I was productive about doing it. That way at the end of the day, because I try to look at this thing at the end of the day and see what I did that day, so I can be proud, like, okay, yeah, I did get something accomplished today. So that's what I use this for, of course, other than the fact of keeping up with day-to-day activities. My next notebook, and this is my last one, I recently just got this one, and you guys are actually going to see this notebook a little later. What this notebook is going to be for is saving planning, because I am planning a trip to Punta Cana with Angelo, and hopefully that does happen. So this is what this is for: planning to-do list for that trip, planning for different events if I have to. So this is what this notebook is going to be for. So those are my little notebooks. I also have this is what actually I wrote down my stuff on. I actually have this clipboard with paper on it just to write big, planning, kind of the same thing as the black notebook does, but just write it out bigger, no lines, just freedom to write. The other thing with being organized is I have a whiteboard back there, and the whole month of June it stayed the same the way it was in May. So clean your whiteboard at least once a month, write stuff down once a week even. Try to figure out what are your goals, what do you want to achieve that week. That's another thing I do. I started using Google Calendar instead of Safari or Apple Calendar, and I write down my goals. On Sunday I tell myself I need to write down my goals for that week, or if I have monthly goals that I found out that I need to do, I would write it in Google Calendar. So I would say do that too. I can do a whole video about being organized if you guys want me to, because I can talk about that literally all day long. The next thing is going to be really fast is finding a care system. That literally can be your best friend, that can be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, that can be your parents. If your parents are cool like that. A lot of parents, you know, think you're over exaggerating about certain things, or they don't understand, or they like be hard on you, even though you know that it's still love. They might not be the best fitting person to deal with failure or depression or anxiety or anything like that. So just find a good care system, even if you trust in the Lord, you know, spiritual wise. That's a care system in itself. So just find a good care system, stick with it, don't hold anything back from them, because 9 times out of 10 if you chose them, they know what you look like when you cry or something like that. So stick with them. This one is unnecessary, especially because I know this costs money, but finding a home away from home, and I don't mean like going to a friend's house and getting away from that. I mean like going to the hotel down the street and just staying there overnight, you know, taking a shower in a different place, being in a different place, staying in a different bed, even though the hotel beds might not be the comfiest or the cleanest, but just do little things like that. And I know that can cost money, that's why it's not a majority, but for me, I want to try to do that at least once a month, just for the simple fact of you guys know me, and I say this in every video, I don't have a space for myself here. I don't have a space to really film and be by myself and like in the cut. Like I don't really have my own room, which a lot of you guys I don't think knows. I share a room with my sister, by the way. So I don't have a space to like be mine. Like this is my stuff. No, the only thing I have here is my bed. No dresser, no desk, no nothing. And the bathroom downstairs is pretty much mine, other than the fact that the laundry is in there. So a lot of times I go and sit in the bathroom for an hour or two, you know. But I would like to find a home away from home, just to like declutter myself, de-stress myself, get away from everybody that's in the house, even though I love them, but everybody needs a break one time to be by themselves, you know. And the last tip, which is something that I'm also working on, is to stop comparing yourself to others. I know we have Instagram and we have Twitter and we have Facebook and all these different social media outlets where we can sit there and look at somebody and say, oh, I wish I did that. Oh, I wish I had that. And that's a lot of times why I have to take a break from Instagram. Yes, as a freelancer, I follow like a bunch of videographers and photographers that's doing so much more than me. And a lot of times I have to stop myself from being like, dang, well, how did he get there and why can't I get there? I have to stop doing myself. So lately I haven't been on that Instagram. I've been on my other Instagrams, because I have like 3 Instagrams in total. Don't ask me why. But I have stayed away from my freelancing Instagram for like pretty much the month of June, just so I can stop comparing myself and feeling down about where I'm at in life. So that's really my last tip. I feel like these tips and so much more are much needed. I can talk about this subject on and on and on because I'm always constantly dealing with failure. Like even with YouTube, I deal with failure so much. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video before it gets too long because I can really go on and on about this. So without further ado, give it a thumbs up if you like, subscribe if you like my face, even though I don't have earrings on. But I will see you guys later.